Ms. Vicky Pryce, we're talking about the measures that have been taken for poverty alleviation now, quoting that stark figure from Africa, which talks about 40 billion hours spent just collecting water. There is a point to be made about that, which is also that this work is mostly unpaid. And many reports suggest when women's efforts are taken into the economy, they are converted into paid work, actually, they will reduce the inequality we are seeing in the world today. But is this a utopian way of thinking about things? Is this actually a practical roadmap to how this can be done?
Listen, the interesting thing about women and the time they spend doing things which are not very productive is a big, big issue, because they have to do that in various countries just to survive. And of course, if you spend all your time doing that, you don't get educated, you have no chance of having a proper job which brings your household income up, and productivity and growth in the economy suffers. But on top of that, this is a real worry. It's not just that technology hasn't really been improving in areas that allows a lot of that time that is spent to no longer be spent just fetching water, with all the impacts that that has, health and otherwise, is that there are loads of restrictions still on women's employment all across, what they can do. Your previous speaker spoke about access to finance. Access to finance for women in lots of countries in the world is still restricted. They have to get permission from their husbands or fathers to do anything, and there are jobs they're not allowed to have. And the World Bank has actually outlined that there are very, very few countries in the world that don't have restrictions on women's labor force participation, which of course impacts on their education and what they transfer over to their children and the long-term development of the country. So these areas are a must. And I think when we're looking at inequality, if you look at women's inequality, it's really significant. And that keeps countries from growing at the rate that they should and being able then to have enough resources to redistribute whatever they collect.